Hey YouTube, this is your captain, back again, bringing you another deck profile. And today we have PAT, and that stands for Performage Artifact Traptrix. It's a really nice deck, and I really like what it does against other meta decks such as Monarchs and Mermails, but it's such a reactive deck. It's just a reactive deck. I have to wait for my opponent to do something so I can hinder what they're doing, so next turn I can get the advantage. But turn one, I'm usually not that great. I don't put too much on board. But getting right into it, pretty standard for the Performage engine. I only run 4 cards. 2 of the Trick Clown and then 2 of the Magic Hatter. Obviously we got Damage Juggler banned, so I run 2 of him because I like special summoning and just having an extra 4 to go into easy 4s, and obviously I'll just run 2 of him. I ran 3 of him at one point, but 2-2 just seems so much more consistent. And you're only running 4 of them for the Performage engine. For the Traptrix, I run 3 Mermelio, pretty much the main Traptrix you have. When he's normal summoned, you get to search your deck for a trap hole card and add it to hand. That's amazing. You run 1 Diania, and when she's normal summoned, I can special summon a Traptrix monster from my grave and special summon in defense position. And a special summon Mermelio, when he's special summoned, I get to destroy 1 spell trap card on the field. And then finally for the Traptrix, I run 1 Anthrax, because I found myself lacking in the number of monsters that are in this deck. There's just a lot more spells and traps than monsters in this deck, so I find it hard to just have more so I can have more draw power for what monsters that I actually do have. And she's cool because I can bait out my opponent. I can have all the trap hole cards in my hand, and while she's on the field, I can just activate them from hand. So my opponent won't see that I have any trap cards on the field set, so they'll assume to go all out, and then I can, hit them with that. That's all for the Traptrix. That's 5 cards, and then for the artifacts, which is like the most that I have, the 1 Moral Tech, unfortunately, 2 Beagle Tech to help with your plays, and then the star of the deck, 3 Scythe. Scythe is, like I said, the star of the deck because you can just special summon them on your opponent's turn through Sanctum or Ignition, or just like a chain of effects to Ignition him, and then Ignition Scythe, and then Artifact Sanctum Beagle Tech, because Beagle Tech gets special summoned and then pop Scythe, so you have 2 level 5s on the field to go for any rank 5 play. Also, your opponent can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, and that really stops a lot of decks. Like, it's crazy to think that how much they concentrate their decks around Exceed summons and using the extra deck to finish you off. And then lastly, I run 1 Glow Bulb. That goes out to, I believe, 17 monsters, and I use Glow Bulb so I can go into my Nat Beast plays, because all of these are Earth. All of them are Earth. He's the only one who's a Light type. But yeah. Now for the spells. Pretty standard. We have 2 MSTs. I'm sorry, we have 5 MSTs. 3 of them just happen to be Artifact Ignitions. I ran 6 at one point, 3 MSTs, 3 Ignitions, because obviously this card has to destroy a card first before you can set an artifact from deck, but it's still really good. I mean, it's the way you have to search for your artifact cards. There's no way really around it. So I run 2-3. 2 Instant Fusion. I run 2 Fusion monsters in my extra deck. Both a level 4 Nodin, and then level 5 Ojama Knight for those level 5 plays. 2 Duality, because you're obviously not special summoning every turn, so you really want to set up and have just like the right cards to hinder your opponent enough so you have another turn. Obviously for the 1-ofs, the Raigeki, I chose Chalice over other things because 400 attack boost isn't really amazing, and I'm more worried about the effects that my opponent might have, so that negates it. And then finally 1 Foolish Burial for if you want to send Trick Clown, or if you want to send Mermelio, so you can normal Diania and then pop a card on the field, or if I want to go in for Nat Beast. That's all for the spells. Now for the scariest part of the deck, what people really quiver is when you set 5 and end. I run 3 Call the Haunteds, all different rarities by the way, absolutely beautiful. You have so many different targets in your deck that are useful through Call of the Haunted that it just makes it so much worth. It's so worth to run 3 of these. You have Murmelo, who'll pop a card when she's special summoned. You have Artifact Scythe, which you could do during your opponent's phase while it's in graveyard, and it's another ignition sanctum basically. You can do it for Moral Tech and then pop another card on the field because you was special summoned during your opponent's turn. I mean, you just have so much that you can do. Obviously, you run the 3 Sanctum to get out all of your artifacts. I love this card. It's great. Plus, if you just sit on it and your opponent tries to destroy this card, you get your second effect, where if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can pop a card in the field. Then, for the hole cards, the trap hole cards, I run 4 of them. Bottomless, 2 time space trap hole, and then 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. I ran only 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare because it's so dead. It's so dead so many times because it has to be a special summoned monster that uses its effect this turn. And I mean, more than most times, it's not really going to happen, but it works. So, I mean, I run 2 of the time space trap holes because they're probably like the best out of the 3. Besides, if we had bottomless 3, please, bottomless 3, that'd be amazing. But, I mean, that seems like a pretty standard lineup for 4 different trap holes that are all searchable through my deck. And with the new Infinite Gold coming out, we're going to be getting a reprint of Void Trap Hole, which is really cool. I might tag that into the deck. That's a cool card too. And then finally, for the last 2 trap cards, 1-0s, 1 warning, and then 1 breakthrough. Another way to negate the effects. And that's it. 40 cards. Pretty standard for a Pat deck. And now for the extra deck. For the 4s, I run Raphaelia. Amazing card. I love this card. I can just first turn Raphaelia, and it's a generic 2 level 4s, and if anything happens that meets the requirements of a Bottomless, I can just use her effect. I send Bottomless to the grave, and her effect becomes whatever Bottomless would be, and for that appropriate target on your opponent's field. I run 1 Honor Arc, pretty self-explanatory. 1 of the Trapeze Magicians, so, for more damage, he makes it. You can detach 1, select a monster on your field. It can attack twice this turn, but it's destroyed at the end phase, so you gotta be careful. Castell, Dark Rebellion Dragon, and I just picked up this guy. He's really cool. I like that he got reprinted in Wing Raiders. He's a 2450 beater. I mean, he's higher than most rank 4s that I would get, that you could possibly bring out, but I found it that sometimes it's not so cool to have him in there. He's just useless, and I'd like to run a 2nd Honor Arc. So I've definitely, in my side deck, tagged him out for an Honor Arc. That's all the 4s. For the 5s, I only run 4 of them. Pleiades, 2 of them. Absolutely beautiful. Best card in the deck. 1 Volcasaurus, so you can just burn damage to your opponent. And then 1 Durandal, just in case you are only drawing your artifact cards. Worst case scenario. And then finally 1 M7. As for the synchros, I only run 3. Materia Beast, very easy to go into. I can go into him first turn a lot of times, and it hinders a lot of different decks. Catastor, just for another level 5, because sometimes you will have not only Earth monsters, and he has a pretty good effect too, depending on who you're playing against. And then finally, Trishula, because it's the easiest goddamn card to make. You have only level 4 monsters and a level 1 tuner from Glow Bolt. Special summon 2 and then get him out. It's like child's play. It's too easy to get him out. I really wish he was more than 1, because then I would just make the Trish the deck. And then finally, I run Nodin, self-explanatory, special summon level 4 from grave. And then I run Ojama Knight. Now his effect is to select 2 monster zones on your opponent's field, and they can't use those until he is no longer on the field. Doesn't really matter if you really choose to do that, because I mean, you're going to instant fusion him and he's dead at the end of the turn anyway. But use him for rank 4 plays, and I use him because he's a light type, level 5, for my rank 5 plays. So, instant Pleiades? I mean, come on. Alright guys, if you like this deck profile, please leave a like down below. It's a really fun deck, but again, it's a very reactive deck, so keep that in mind. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. This is your captain, signing out. Have a nice day, guys.